Hi, everyone, and welcome to Read This Now, the weekly webcast where Brad, Gustafson, and I share two books that we love and we think you should read. When, Brad?
Right now, and this week, my book is like the strongest read this right now that I've ever had in the history of the show.
Well, get right to it. Let's do it.
I just needed to quick reflect. Some basketball teams or players in the pregame warm-up, they have this thing where, I don't know if it's baby powder, but they go like this for showmanship, and it's just this spectacle.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't?
Absolutely
okay.
No idea, but it sounds cool.
Okay, LeBron James, KG, Kevin Garnett from Minnesota, he's retired now, but some of the players have done that. But instead of my sliding door move, I'm thinking I need to get some baby powder. That's the new intro, Jen. That's it.
Well, you're setting yourself up because I'm going to expect that next week.
All right, we'll see how well that goes over on different keyboards and such that I have ready. So, but I do want to share my book. Like, I was thinking about this one, and it truly is one, like, as soon as you're done watching Jen and I, you probably should go to your local bookstore or wherever you get books and get it. Like, the timing is right. Strike while the iron's hot. And full disclaimer, this was part of my Principles Read Aloud repertoire a couple of years ago, and I enjoyed the book then, but it's interesting when the world turns and based on seasons and events, it is like perfect for right now. So I actually, I use this book to kick off for my September Principal Read Alouds. So I'm walking the walk here. It really is a book that kids need now. It is Hello by Matthew Cordell. And here's the thing about the book. I'll tell you why it's so perfect for right now. It starts with a girl named Lydia, and she goes, and I'll just share one of the first pictures to help you see the cadence of the book. But she kind of checks in. She's like, "Hello, Mom," and she's standing off to the side. And then it's tuck, tuck, tuck. Hello. And as I read aloud to kiddos, I get into kind of the part and I let them study the pictures, but it goes like that. She checks in with another parent. She checks in with her brother, and just different little nuances happen. And then she's kind of disappointed because they're so immersed in their screens, which that's a big reality we have right now. People are using screens for really important stuff, like parents and family members have to work and pay the bills, right? Nothing wrong with that. But it makes you think a little bit. Anyway, she goes outside and kind of leans into her own imagination. She comes across a horse, and I love when the horse says hello to her, so I always talk in my horse voice and let the kids kind of rate how good or bad.
Hold, please. We're definitely going to need to hear that. So
I got a really good, I think it's called a whinny. That's a technical horse term, right? But it's like, this is really embarrassing. It's way easier to do with kindergarten, first and second graders, Jen. The pressure's on, but
kindergartner. I am like your kindergarten audience right now. I'm totally ready.
Yep. So we're gonna really set this. We're going all in on this. I'm gonna give you the page. She's outside now. She's saying, "Hello, horse." Hello, Lydia. That's where I let the kids rate my horse voice. And then I'm going to tell you, Jen, you're laughing, but my average ranking, teachers included, is like 8.25 out of 10. So
I'm giving you 2 hooves way up. 2 hooves way up.
Nice. And then the story progresses and more friends join her on her wild adventures until it gets to this page. And I love this because you can imagine I start saying hello in whale voice. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm telling you, I've got a great whale voice. And it's more just noises, like it's indiscernible. You don't really know what I'm saying. But because of the pattern, kids know I'm saying hello. Anyway, it totally got me all excited and off topic here, as is usually the case. Towards the end of the story, something happens that kind of connects it back to technology and how sometimes that can wipe out imaginations, and the way that we've used it in the conversations. And in addition to just loving the book and the time we spend together, it's also talking about the importance of taking breaks. And for kiddos who are doing distance learning, hybrid learning, all this stuff, like all those tools and important, powerful ways that we have to connect and Zoom like we are now, there's a time and a place for that. It's really important, but also that can't be at the expense of your imagination or going outside and enjoying the leaves, because that's kind of a theme. Some of the outdoor stuff comes up in here. I glazed over it for this book talk. But for all of those reasons, you just got to trust me. When you buy this book, you'll realize like, oh, this really is perfect right now. So read it right now, not just for yourself, but for the kiddos in your lives.
Oh, I love it. That was amazing. And thank you for going with the flow. Matthew Cordell has written actually a number of books that I really enjoy. So that is wonderful to see that one. And thank you for being such a good sport, because we did not plan any of this. I had no idea there was a horse voice opportunity when we started. So that was amazing. Thank you.
On my drive home tonight, kind of the post-show reflection, I'll be practicing my wail in the car.
I can't wait.
Yeah. One last thing.
Go ahead.
The front matter in this book, I don't know if that's really a term, but anyway, the stuff before the title page, there's some cool stuff just to check out. But one of them, and it kind of sets the techie feel of the book a little bit, but one of them is her looking at a screen saying rerun. And the funny thing is, Jen, I honestly don't know the answer to this. Do kids these days have reruns and know what reruns are?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no, this is like such an off-topic thing, but you know, my husband, David, and I were watching Back to the Future, the movie, the other day. And when Marty goes back in time, he mentions a rerun to the kids from the 1950s, and they have no idea what that is because television has only just become a household thing. Oh. And so it's just so funny now that kids so many years after 1980 might not know what a rerun is either. Maybe that was a term that was just unique to a specific period of time, right?
That's a great insight. The other funny thing is, oftentimes I'm the one in our family who I like the old-fashioned TV guide, so I'll go and watch things, even if it's like home improvement shows from the year 2000, and my family will walk in and be like, "What are you watching, Dad?" I just like the fact that it's on and the rest of the world has access, and we could have this shared experience, even though I don't know if anyone else is watching it. It's incredibly outdated.
Somebody is.
But they're reruns. Most people probably do the on-demand stuff, or they watch what they want to watch.
We're getting old, my friend. We're getting very, very old.
We are. No, I would be surprised. Usually you wave your magic wand and somehow you connect to the book or theme that I shared, but I'm going to say it's going to be hard. You're going to be hard-pressed to pull that off this week.
Well, get ready to be impressed, because I do see a connection, even though the books that we read this week are so completely different. Your book, picture books, I think really are for every audience, but I imagine you reading that to sort of younger kiddos. The book I'm going to share today is really probably more of a high school or maybe even an 8th grade or up kind of book. But I think you and I had a sort of a parallel journey this week, in so much as we were both thinking about how the books that we read applied to this moment in time. You know, like you were talking about how, you know, gosh, we're all spending so much more time on our screens now, whether by choice or not, just out of necessity. And sometimes it can feel hard to prioritize real world interactions, or even just going outside when the demands of life just require you to be on these screens. And while the book I read didn't have anything really to do with technology, I found myself feeling like, oh my gosh, there's some universal truths in this book that apply no matter what is going on in history. So I had this plan, so I'm going to switch gears really quickly here to read a section to you. Okay, that's what I wanted to do for this book talk. And I wanted to ask you, no pressure, Brad. I mean, you've already done a horse voice, so I mean, at this point, but I want to see if you can guess who this book is about.
Okay.
This book is about a famous person. It's a biography, but it's a novel in verse. So it's all poems about this famous person.
Got it. William Shatner. William Shatner.
No, it is not. Okay. And you're very far off. So let me go ahead and I'm going to read this one poem to you, and we'll see. And if you don't get it right, that's okay, because I'll give you the next clue with the cover. Okay. Or with
Okay.
the title, maybe. Okay. So clue number one is this poem. The poem is called Living Up to My Name.
Hmm.
Okay. I was born Norma Jean Mortensen, but suddenly I was box office gold with more titles than I could keep track of. Miss California Artichoke Queen, the most promising female newcomer, world film favorite, best young box office personality, Miss Morale of the Marine Corps, the present all GIs would like to find in their Christmas stocking, the girl most likely to thaw Alaska, the girl most wanted to examine, the girl they would most like to intercept, the most advertised girl in the world, the best friend a diamond ever had, the talk of Hollywood, a wonder of the world, the fastest rising star. But the adoration was all hers, the accolades Marilyn's, not mine. In my mind's eye, I was the girl most likely to be found dead clutching an empty pill bottle. In 1956, I made the name change official. The legal formality was less a rebirth than an erasure. She had finally eclipsed me.
Wow. I am pleased to say that after like 1.5 lines in that poem, I was going to say Marilyn Monroe, and then it kind of kept confirming it.
Yes. Okay. So it's to me such an unusual book, a biography written entirely in verse of someone that we think we know, Marilyn Monroe. And the title to me is so clever. The title is Beauty Mark. And I want you to see the cover. Okay. See the cover? But watch this. The cover is just Marilyn's face, but that beauty mark on her face is actually a hole punch, Brad, that when you take off reveals this black cover with the words, "No one knows how it feels inside my troubled mind. No one wants to." And we think we know Marilyn Monroe, but this book reveals a sad, tragic, a way too brief human experience. And what I found myself thinking about this week, to get back to our connections, is that it's hard to believe that Marilyn Monroe died almost 60 years ago. Again, we're getting old, right? But even though her time, the period in time which she left, feels so different from us, there's actually so much that we all still have in common. The desire to be loved, the desire to be accepted, the desire to be seen, for who we really are, as opposed to the sort of veneers that we all wear to be accepted. This book has some dark moments for sure. In terms of readability, it's so incredibly accessible. It's really beautifully done. The pages are all done in this sort of Hollywood glamour, gold and glitz, but the content can be a little dark. So I would kind of suggest it for 8th grader up. And I haven't mentioned that it was written by Carole Boston Weatherford, who I often associate with picture books, but she's written this beautiful, beautiful biography of Marilyn Monroe, and it's called Beauty Mark, and I think you should read it now.
Incredible.
It's really good.
Wow,
Two very different books.
I mean, this will sound bad. I hate when you bump something on my to be read list when I wasn't expecting it. It wouldn't necessarily be a book I would gravitate to, but Jen, you've done it again. And I love the experience of pulling off that dust jacket. That is just smart and cool.
Really neat. And I want to tell you something, full disclosure. I received an electronic arc of this book before it was released, and I read the first 2 poems, and I personally struggle to read on a device. Ebooks, it has to be just the right book. So I put it aside. I pre-ordered the book so that when it came in, I could look at it. And I'm so glad I read it in the physical form. Not simply because of this awesome, cool cover, but because, I don't know, the poems, their placement on the page, the photography that's behind a lot of the poems, that really added to the experience for me. So for readers out there, I think the physical copy of this book is the one I would recommend most.
Nice. I have a full disclosure as well. Not as cool as yours, but You ready for this?
Oh, wow.
There we go.
Nice. I
There we go.
love it. I love it. You know, our friend Mr. Shu often says that when you undress a book, a lot of times there's a gift underneath that dust jacket. So always check, never know.
Yeah,
So
you made me think of that. Very cool.
Brad, this was an epic show, but we've got more epic shows coming up soon. That's just a teaser for our 3.5 viewers to stay tuned. We have something special in the works coming up.
Big news, people. Big news.
Big, huge. But in the meantime, if folks want to go back and look at our previous shows or even just check out the 2 years plus of book recommendations that we have been curating for all this time, where can they go, Brad?
bit.ly/read_this_now. Feels like
Do
a
it,
rhyme,
folks.
huh?
I know. Thanks, everyone. And thank you, my friend. Happy reading.
Great to see you.